So when I got into graduate school, basically they told us that we had to apply for practicum. And the way that the applications work for practicum is that you still needed some sort of a personal statement. What's up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Phil Sarpon. This is Phil's Guide to PsyD. This channel is dedicated to all things psychology, wellness, as well as graduate school. I am a clinical psychology doctoral student. What I do on this channel is that I take questions from you guys. It could be about clinical psychology, it could be about wellness or psychology, whatever it is. And I do videos and I try and answer those questions as best as I can. So if you have not already, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let's get started. All right, so the question that we have today is, some of you have been asking me about my practicum experience and what exactly is practicum. How does that whole process work when you're in graduate school? This is a really good question because when I got into graduate school, I had really no idea about the whole practicum process. All I knew is that I was gonna get into grad school and I was gonna take a bunch of didactic courses and classes and stuff like that. And then on certain days of the week, I was gonna go into my clinical experience. And I knew that for a lot of our students, a lot of our cohort size, that we could basically figure out what application sites that we wanted to apply to, what clinical sites we wanted to go to, and that we would, I guess, just appear and show up at these clinical sites. Like, I wasn't really sure about the whole process. Here's a little bit of the process. It's a little complicated. I was a little overwhelmed. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit overwhelmed when I got into graduate school because I just felt like, man, this is like a lot to deal and take in with. All right, so you know how you just went through your whole application process in graduate school? You had to have your GREs, your letter of recommendations, you had to have a personal statement, your GPA, all that stuff ready. You had to kind of prepare for the interview. You had to dress nice. Well, guess what? You're gonna have to do that process all over again when you get into graduate school, through your first year, your second year, your third year, all the way up to your internship. Now, this is for most schools. I will say there may be some schools that have a different process. So I don't want you to take what I say and generalize it across the board for all clinical psychology programs, but at least from what I've seen and other students that I've talked to about different processes in terms of their application process to practicum, this seems to be the general overlay of what happens. So when I got into graduate school, basically they told us that we had to apply for practicum. And the way that the applications work for practicum is that you still needed some sort of a personal statement, you know, maybe a cover letter of why you wanted to go into that particular clinical site. You still needed letters of recommendation. You needed 3 letters of recommendation. This could be from faculty members or previous professors or people that you've worked with in the past. You still needed to make sure that your GPA was good, so you still had to turn in your transcripts and everything like that. So basically, you were still gonna go through a whole application process and you are already in graduate school. So it's almost like the whole process was going to start over again. So I had my personal statement, my letters of recommendation, my cover letter, I had my application ready to go, and I basically had to choose, I think I chose between like 5 to 6 sites, send in my application materials. Most of this was all over email, and then some of it was actually through mail. Now, there's a whole process to this because I didn't know that there's a whole other sort of program that says, hey, everyone has to send their applications to these clinical sites at the same time. So usually for every program, there's a particular date that you send in all these applications. And then I think there's sort of maybe like a 2 to 3 week turnaround where if schools are interested, they will either call you, they will have a phone interview or a Zoom interview with you. Some of them might actually come in person to their interview. And then a couple weeks after that, all of the schools are basically going to tell you whether or not you are accepted into their clinical site. And there are some times where they can offer early acceptances to the students they really want. And if those students choose to decline, then they will wait till the actual date to send in some of their invitations and their acceptances. So I know this is probably like a weird process. You're probably thinking that if you go into graduate school, you don't have to do this stuff all over again, but in some ways you will definitely have to. And one of the things that they've told us is to save our cover letters, to save all of our application materials, whether it's letters of recommendation or a personal statement or your transcript. Save it all in a file. Keep tabs on those documents, because most likely you're gonna need them again. You're gonna need them for your second year when you start your practicum, your third year, and your fourth year, as well as especially when you apply for internship. So the process of applying to different places, it never truly ends. It really does not truly end. So I gave just an overview. There's a lot of other details in there that I'm sure people would maybe be interested in, but I just wanted to give you guys just a general overview of basically what to expect when you get into graduate school and you're applying for different clinical sites. Have your application materials on deck, ready to go, especially as you apply to graduate school. Try and keep all of those documents on file so you don't have to look for them. And in my mind, I was kicking myself because I wish that I had just saved all of that stuff in a folder, because I already had to have them when I applied to these schools. So it would have saved me a lot of time when I was applying to these practicum sites if I already had it on deck, if I already had it saved and it was already in a file. So keep that in mind as you go into your doctoral programs. I'm sure every school is slightly different. The dates are a little bit different. The process is a little bit different. All these other things. There's some sites that actually allow you to apply way early, and then there's some sites where you have to wait to apply, and then there's some sites that won't let you know if they want you to be accepted until they tell everybody. Everyone has all these different weird rules or regulations, but in the end, I'm sure you will be okay. Every student that I know always gets a site to go into. It may not be your top choice all the time, but it most likely will be a place that you can go into and you can get your clinical experience. All right, if you guys have any questions about that, put it in the comment section below. If there are any students that are in their practicum sites right now and they had a different process, I would love to know what your process is. I'm sure the community would love to know as well, just to kind of get an idea of what everybody's journey was like in terms of getting into graduate school and getting through the practicum process and all of that stuff. So if you have a unique experience, definitely put it down also in the comment section below. If you have not already, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you guys in the next video.